Hi everyone. I forgot to do something. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm 78 and I mess up periodically. I am going live here. I don't have much of an audience. I know that, and I. But at 78, and after a year of being sick from pesticide poisoning, and I can reverse it. I'm going skiing today. um, Anybody can. But more importantly, I know you young kids, I don't have your audience. You're not going to be interested in some 78-year-old broad like me. But um, if your parents or grandparents are listening, for God's sakes, get your kids off the pesticides. I'm just lucky that I was so chemically hypersensitive that I started to cripple at the age of 6 and I paralyzed at the age of 25. And if you don't think chronic illness from being poisoned is a big deal, I got news for you. Organic is cheap because it cost me hundreds of millions of dollars. That's right. I was beautiful. I was a dancer. I was headed for Broadway. Then I lost my legs. So I went into the investment market and I was a genius. Okay. And I lost everything uh, more than once. Dozens of times I lost it and made it back and lost it and made it back, and through chronic illness. And then later on I became so vulnerable to fraud that it didn't matter what. I just got ripped off. The lawyers ripped me off. My best friends ripped me off. My family ripped me off. I'm not even going to go into that. But here's the thing. I was eating porridge thinking it was a great idea for the bowels and to prevent cancer. I mean, I got so much wrong with me. And I keep researching diets for disease control, and I have reverse memory loss. It took me 22 years, and okra did that. And I've got a website with all that stuff. But what I want to talk about is the pesticides. I was eating Roundup, Monsanto's Roundup, in my porridge, oat porridge, and didn't know it. Okay. And thank God for Facebook. You can take Instagram and stick it where the sun don't shine because it's a bunch of bullshit out there. You kids haven't got a clue what's going on. You're making teenagers billionaires. Good luck with that. If they do something human with, like Kim Kardashian, I have no qualms with her because she's doing something with her fame and her money. But the rest of you are just doing bullshit. Anyway, I wound up after skiing and dancing in bed sick, and I couldn't figure out what the heck was wrong. I just couldn't get to my feet. And yeah, there's a lot wrong with me. I have Parkinsonism, but I've been dealing with that all my life, and I've been reversing it with diets. And finally, somebody on Facebook, God bless Facebook, I've got issues perhaps with other things, and YouTube is wonderful. And yes, this is live, but by the time you find me, it'll be off. So you'll just have to look up my website or find me on Facebook if you want more information. But here's the deal. Somebody on Facebook sent me this thing about Roundup and the big lawsuits going on in the United States and all the cancer it's caused. And I had no idea that it was in oats and cereal. So anyway, I went searching for a way to reverse. And when I reversed, I wound up in metabolic breakdown because I was at so much poison in my fat cells that as I detoxified, I wound up in metabolic breakdown, gastritis, indigestion. God almighty, I've been so sick. But anyway, I want you to start paying attention to what you're eating. And I know you don't think it's such a big deal, but it is a big deal. And things are falling here. Sorry about that. But I'm going to read to you an article that I did it's on my website and it's also on Facebook. And pesticide in food is the silent genocide. You cannot see it. You don't know how much is in the food you eat, and you don't know where the food was grown and how much is in the soil and how much it was contaminated. And the pesticides have proven to cause cancer and Parkinsonism and autism and Alzheimer's and a vast array of nerve and brain damage. And at what age depends upon your exposure from early childhood to aging in seniors. And I know I have no voice. I don't have a following. I got about 2 people. But I'm hoping that somebody out there will be researching pesticides and do something with the information. Fentanyl actually poisoned me the last time. I got off the oats. I started to get well, and then I got poisoned on fentanyl. And I was terribly sick. And then again, I went into metabolic breakdown. And no matter what I ate from then on, I got sick, even organic. I couldn't eat my organic salad. I couldn't eat my apples. I couldn't eat anything. And I had to go on chips and yogurt. Now, I'm not saying that's good for everybody, but since childhood, if I ate chips and yogurt or sour cream, I don't know why, but it stops the metabolic breakdown. And then, of course, I wind up with constipation and then bleeding in the bowels. And then I got to slowly put fiber back into me. And it's a real battle. Survival for me is a real battle. But it has taken me over 2 months to reverse this. And although I am on the mend by eating yogurt, and then I slowly put the organic plant-based foods and spring greens back into my diet. But there's a lot of foods that I can't tolerate anymore. I have to go strictly organic, which is really hard. I'm in Northern Ontario, and believe me, this is junk food city. It's a mining town, Sudbury, and you don't want to live here. I got to wear a gas mask to go outside to breathe, and I can't breathe at any time, spring, summer, or fall. In winter, I can get some clean air if I get out into the wilderness. But, I got bears and mountain lions, and so I kind of have to be careful where I go. I'm going to take the risk today at Walden because it's not, there are people that live nearby, and so they're not overrun with bears. And now that we've had 10 below 0 Celsius and 15 below, I'm hoping that they're too fat that they can't catch up with me. Anyway, I'll do whatever it takes to get my legs back. And sometimes metabolic breakdown can take you years to recover from. I have a dear sweetheart on Facebook in Florida. It's been 3 years battling with metabolic breakdown. And she's been in and out of the hospital, and they just really haven't helped her very much. They can't find anything wrong. Well, of course, they don't know to look for toxic poisoning in our fat cells and so on and so forth. But anyway, I'll never risk eating anything that's not organic again. Although I'm told eggplant, if I peel it, it doesn't have much pesticides, and I am going to give that a try. And I do keep guinea pigging, because if I don't, I'd be living on chips and potatoes and yogurt and nothing else. I even got sick on Brussels sprouts, for God's sakes, and they were organic. So anyway, I'm not saying that all fennel would be as toxic, but we just don't know where our food comes from. So personally, I have to try and boycott anything that's not organic, and I really suggest you do the same, because you have no idea what the food you're eating will do to you and your career. And if you become chronically ill like I did, your career goes down the tubes, and you'll never get any help from doctors and hospitals, because they don't know if they're punched or bored, to tell you the truth, most of them. And I had to boycott at the age of 70 all Canadian food to get well, because we have no right to know what's in our food. At least in Europe and the United States, you've got all ingredients are listed, but we don't here in Canada. And if you suffer with severe cramps after eating, you've been poisoned somehow. And to flush out all toxins and fully recover, you should go on my okra. Yes, okra will reverse brain damage, memory loss, and detoxify. And it's the one thing that if you buy it frozen, you don't have to worry about it, pesticides. It doesn't require a lot of pesticides. But you do have to make sure it's baby, because my God, if it's older, it's worse than straw. You can't chew it or eat it. And we can't get anything like that local here. And by the time it's shipped here, it's full of mold. So, but the good news is that don't wait until you wind up with your life destroyed like what happened to me. Don't let your children go through what I went through. In Canada, canola oil causes Parkinson's, okay? And it's in everything, and it's not in all the labels because we don't have the right to know. And please boycott canola oil. It is deadly. You're better off with lard and pig fat. So unless you're buying organic, oats are no longer safe. Now, a recent study discovered, and it's on Facebook and on Google, that there's Roundup in it. Now, there are Monsanto, of course, and Quaker Oats and all the other companies are fighting that and saying it's not true. Well, they're full of baloney. Don't listen to them. Now, the claims that organic costs 49%, I want to again impress upon you that pesticide-laced food is misleading. The chronic illnesses and the diseases that you cause hundreds of millions of dollars. I know what it costs me, and what it costs your healthcare system, if you've got one, is ridiculous. Don't even go there. So chronic illnesses are a lot more expensive than a little bit of organic food. And if you can, yes, plant-based food is better, but if not, there are wonderful organic meats now available. I mean, even where I live, we've got organic beef, organic pork, organic chicken, and that's all you'll ever need in terms of meats. Your body doesn't require anything more than that. Now, fish is a whole nother issue. Again, I've got that on my website. But stick to something small like sardines. They're too young to have enough poison in them. But don't touch tuna or cod. Oh my God, cod is really poisonous. And I'm not sure about salmon. I just don't like it, so I don't eat it. But pickerel and even the farm-fed fish is safer than some of the ocean fish because it's just so poisoned now. What we've done to the planet is insane. Now, I began to cripple at the age of 6, and I am at 78, and every day of my life I fight for survival in a world so toxic that I risk dying every time I step outside. Or even in my apartment, I get fumes from the laundromat down below, and it's really hard. I've become so immune deficient that I'm a bubble person, allergic to the planet. And that's the future of your children. And I know you kids out there think I'm a big joke, but I hope to God some of you are paying attention and you're going to make it a better world, because my generation had the most money, the best education that you're not getting today. Let me tell you, 70 years ago, we had the most amazing education on the planet in Canada and the United States, and that's all gone. You have not a clue what's really going on. And if I don't, and every attack is, the pain is like dying with cancer. I cannot describe the brutal torture and painful agony of living with being poisoned every time I step outside or every time I eat. And that's not a future I want for you children. So anyway, I'm going skiing. God bless everybody. And I hope that I help somebody out there. If I help one person, this has made my life worth living. Love you all, and God bless. Okay, and I'm just typing in here my website, okra, www.okra-diet.com. number 4, all.com. Whoops. I've got the wrong glasses on. I can't see what the hell I'm doing. See, that's what happens with aging. Okay. God bless everybody.